Okay, so let's go ahead and get the little knobs on top. Those are going to be relatively easy to make. We could make them out of a sphere. Probably going to be the easiest way to do it, honestly. So let's work square. We'll make a sphere. Bring it up here. Line it up. And then we'll change its radius to, I don't know, 0.2. I'm just guessing. Oh, yeah, that was pretty close. 0.2. 0.2, it is. Okay, so I'm going to reduce the number of divisions. We don't need that many. Let's go with 12 by 12. So we can kind of see what we're doing here. Go to faces, select these faces across, just select across there, and then press W, hold shift, and click and drag out. So you can now scale in from the center, that's fine. And then I'm just going to press delete on those and get rid of those faces so you can start to see we're forming this shape. I'm going to select the edge, double click the edge there, press W, hold shift, click and drag down, scale it in, double click this edge, scale in so it curves. See how we're getting that curve there? You can press 3, go to your edge, press W, hold shift, click and drag down, scale it out. So now it goes out. And then W, hold shift, click and drag down, and then scale it out the rest of the way. And if we need to add in an extra edge, we can. We just go to the insert edge tool, add one in, and then we can go 3 here. We can scale this in a little bit, maybe scale this in a little bit, and then we have our shape. We might want to, tighten this up here. So if we were to do that, we want to add in an edge loop probably, and then just kind of scale that in a little bit, and we'll scale this in a little bit to kind of match that. So we have that shape right there, and that's looking wrong. It's looking too big, which is, oh, and it's also wrong there. That's fine. We can fix that pretty easily. Double click this edge here, scale it out. Now we have that. Let's double click here and we'll hold shift and scale in so we get a little bit of a lip on there. And then go to object mode and we'll try to line this thing up. Rotate it. Move it. Move it. Rotate it. And I will scale the whole thing down so it matches with the radius of the other part that we made. That's pretty good. Maybe I want to make that squarer along here, right along here, because it is squarer. There you go, just add an edge in there and it'll make it squarer. Cool. We got that piece. And now we can move on to the bottom part. Let's check the image. Oh, it's just a cylinder, so that'll be easy to make. So we just go make a cylinder. Where's that? Here we go. Change our radius. What was the radius on this? Oh, we don't know that. We could probably find it if we looked hard enough, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go 0.2. So I think that was like a 0.1 or something. 0.15 or something. That's too narrow, it looks like. So make it a 0.23 or something, 0.23. And then I don't need that many divisions. I'll go with 12, just like on the top. And then obviously the height is very different. So let's go 0.2 there as well. Let's see if that works out. We'll do 0.15 for the height. That looks better. It's rounded, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add divisions onto the, well, I'm not even going to bother. I'm just going to go to the caps and type in a 0 here. And then I can more easily delete this and this. I'm going to go to Insert Edge, double click it, click on Multi, and then click one vertical edge. Go to Edge here, double click this one, hold Shift, double click this one, press R, scale in to the center. Don't scale from the center, but scale in on the square here to the center. So because it looks like it's really rounded there. And then I'm going to, while R is still selected, I'm going to hold Shift and click and drag in to make a lip there so that it will cut in. Maybe do 2 so we get a control edge on that. And then go Object Mode, press 3. And you got that rounded sort of shape right there. It works really well. It's pretty easy to make that. We're going to rotate it over and move it down so it lines up with the other piece on top there. Oh, that's not centered for whatever reason. But put it over there in the center. All right. Now we have that part. Cool. We're almost there. Gonna make one more piece, which is going to be this kind of a plate piece here. Before I do that, I'm going to go through the whole arduous task of making the globe. This is going to be super hard. Watch. I make a sphere. I move the sphere to the center on the globe, and then I change its radius. Let's try 4. 4 is too much. 3.5 looks like it's pretty close. Maybe 3.6. All right, we did it. We'll rotate it into place. Kind of get the poles to match up with the poles. It's pretty close. There you go. We can just take the faces off of this and use them. Go to faces here, click and drag over the center faces right there. We're going to use copy faces, which is duplicate faces actually. It's right here on my custom shelf. I don't know if it's on the standard shelf. It is under edit mesh, duplicate right here. So duplicate those faces and then click and drag on the blue arrow to move them off. Go to object mode and click on them, and then you have that shape. We're most of the way done with center of the pivot on it, so that's modify. It's on my custom shelf. Modify center pivot. If you don't have it on your custom shelf right there, we have this now, and we can extrude it to make it thicker. So extrude is on your standard shelf. It's underneath edit mesh. It's right here on my shelf. It's like a orange block rising off of a white plane. Click on that. Click and drag the blue arrow to make it thick. And now if we make it the wrong way, like we go this way, we can always fix that, but I'm just going to go the right way here. Go to object mode and then bring this down and kind of lock it into place. Might need to make the globe itself bigger. I think this is a little bit wider, so I'll scale out a little bit. But now we have that shape that's kind of curved and ready to go. If we press 3, it might curve over too much there, so we might want to add a control edge around the middle here. Double click your insert edge loop tool, reset the tool, and then close it, and then click an edge down there to sharpen that up. That's not going to be enough, I think. We're going to need 2. So let's add in 2. Go back to your insert edge loop tool. Just add in 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom. Go to object mode, press 3. That'll sharpen that up enough, I think, to make it look like that piece. And if it's not, like, smooth this out, press 3. Smooth that out. If it's not round enough, well, we're going to have to do some weird stuff to it to get it to be rounder. A vertex here. I'm just going to select the center vertex, and then we can pull it up, go to object mode, and push this down. That might be round enough. I think that's probably good. Push it back up into here. Okay, so with that done, we've made the last piece. We just have to duplicate these over to the bottom. So I'm going to select this, hold shift and select this. We have all 3 of those selected now. Press Control D to duplicate, Control G to group. And then we'll type a -1 into Y, -1, to flip them over. They're not flipped over perfectly, I don't think. They might be, but I doubt it. Where did they go? Okay. Weird that they're not showing. We might have to do one at a time. I don't know why that didn't work. This version of Maya is a bit glitchy, so let's go ahead and we'll just do one at a time. So I'm just going to hold shift and click and drag it off. There you go. And then I can scale it this way. So it's a -0.779 minus 0.779. If we froze the transformations on it, we could just type in a -1, but we did not freeze the transformations on it. So there we go. We got that piece. That's not lined up perfectly. It's pretty close, but not quite. Needs to be rotated slightly. Okay. And then we'll duplicate this one here. This one does not need to be rotated around. It can just be duplicated because it's totally symmetrical. So just hold shift and drag it. Press W, hold shift, and then drag it down. And this one here doesn't need to be flipped, but we're going to freeze its transformations. That's under the modify menu, modify freeze transformations. I have it on my custom shelf. So I'm going to click and drag it down. Get it in position. Looks like it needs to be rotated a little bit. And then we'll scale it -1 on Y. There you go. Now, the sphere is in the wrong place. It needs to be moved. Let me turn on wireframe on shaded. Let me turn off X-ray. getting these McAfee notifications. All right. Line that up there. And the sphere is slightly too big, so I don't know why I... Oh, it's got history on it from that. Okay, so we can scale it down slightly. Let's go with 0.98. It's probably too much, actually. 0.99. But we're done. We made the globe. We got the whole thing here. It's still too small, so let's go with 0.999. There we go. Is that too big? All right, sweet. That's like perfect. We have our cool globe now. We can put that into our little setting if we wanted to add that in. Make sure you save it. I could just increment and save. I'm going to save globe 3 here. And save as. We're good. Make sure you submit that, and I'll see you in class.